Prabhu, can you just do the presentation, Prabhu? Yeah. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and Pranam. Welcome to today's everyday Gita session. Let us take the blessings of his Sheshadri Puram deities over here. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki jai. Nitai Chaitanya ki jai. Vamnadev ki jai. Parashuram Bhagwan ki jai. Giri Govardhan ki jai. Narsim Bhagwan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gurudev ki jai. Let's start with our prayers. Om Ajnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavade Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome devotees. Today we are going to see 15th chapter, 8th sloka, the yoga of the Supreme Person. Shariram yat avapnoti yaschapi utkramat ishvaraha grihitvaitani samyati vayurgandani vashayat. Shariram yad avapnoti yaschapi utkramat Tishwaraha grihitvaitani samyati vayurgandani va shayat. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. Hare Krishna Mataji, Prabhuji, does anyone want to read the shloka once? Ruby Mataji, Kamla Mataji, anyone wants to read the sloka once?
Hare Krishna, shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Shariram yada avapnoti yachapi utkaramashvaraha grihitvaitani samyati vayurgandhan ivashyata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. So Krishna has described very nicely how each living entity is a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in the previous verse. Now he is just explaining, describing the transmigration of the living entity from one body to another body. In the shloka, he says here, Grihit Vaitani samyati Vayur Gandhan Ivashayat. So how does the living entity transmigrate from one body to another? Here he's giving an analogy. Vayur Gandhan Ivashayat. So air carries different aromas where it passes, right? Like wherever it passes, it just carries different aromas along with it. So like that, Vayur Gandhan Ivashayat, the living entity also transmigrates, changes the body. And he also says, Shariram yad avapnoti yaschapi utkramatishvaraha. He takes one type of body and leaves it and again takes another type of body. So here the living entity is also mentioned as Ishvaraha. It's called Ishvaraha, controller. So let us just go in depth about the analogy which Krishna is telling us here. Vayur Gandhan Ivashayad. So when we take an air which is just passing, if the air passes through a rose garden or a jasmine garden or something like that, when the air passes by, like we smell the nice aroma, the pleasant aroma of the roses and the jasmines. If it passes by the jasmine field or something like that. But the same air, when it passes by a sewage, then it carries the foul smell, right? So actually, what from this we can understand, originally the air does not have any of these qualities, right? Originally doesn't have neither the rose or nor the jasmine or smell in it. It is just very pure. The air is very pure. As it passes by, it just carries the nice aroma or the foul smell or whatever it is. It just carries. So really the air is not affected by these. It is very pure. Similarly, the living entity is also pure as the air. It is only that various conceptions it carries from one body to another body. When it passes from one body to another body, it just carries the impressions, the conceptions of that body where it resided. So the living entity, it is being bound by the subtle and the gross body. But the living entity is very pure. The spirit soul, it is definitely, the spirit soul is eternal, and the spirit soul cannot be captured by a matter. Therefore the subtle, it can never be captured by any matter, right? So therefore the subtle and the gross body cannot capture the spirit soul. It is only the impressions, it is only the conceptions the living entity carries when it moves on from one body to another body. Prabhupada here, he very nicely tells us in this purport. Here, the living entity is described as Ishvara, the controller, right? The controller of his own body. So, when the living entity is the controller of this body, we can leave the body at any time, right? But we are so much attached to the body, even at the time of death. It is very tough. It is very tough. There is so much of force, to leave the body. There is so much of force for the living entity to leave the body. And that's why at the time of death, there is a struggle. It is a very painful scenario. So here Prabhupada is saying, like, he's a controller, and why is he not able to just leave the body whenever he wants? He's struggling because he has so much of what do you call, like, the attachment towards that body. Even at the time of death, he's not able to leave the body. So this is the analogy. The living entity, it is a spirit soul. It is pure. It is just the conceptions which it is carrying from one body to another body. When it leaves from one body to another body, just like a wind, just like a air, which is very pure, and it takes the qualities across where it goes, along where it goes. But the living entity stays pure as the air stays pure, and it is just like taking the aroma as it goes. And here another point also Prabhupada says, yeah, if he likes, he can change his body to a higher grade, and if he likes, he can move to a lower class. Minute independence is there. The change his body undergoes depends upon him. Therefore, we can decide what can be our destination, what can be our next life, or what can be our next destination. That is based on the current activities what we are doing. So the living entity is given a very minute independence, as Prabhu was explaining in yesterday's class. very minute independence Krishna has given us. Most of the times, people will say, oh no, everything is set, it is all preset, and whatever has happened, it is all preset, and it is just happening like that. No, it is not like that. There is a small, a minute independence which it is given to us. Else, like it will be like a robot life. We all will be robot, like a robot life only, and there will be no question of karma at all. There will be no point of karma, and there will be no point of love towards the Godhead, right? So definitely, it depends on the activities, the destination where we are going. It depends on the activities what we are doing now. We have the independence in any situation to decide between two choices, either this or that. That choice which we take, we can take a choice, we can select from the choice which can take us to the higher level, or which can even take to the lower, which can be forced us to go down also. So the very key important point here is, what is the choice we are taking, what is the activities we are doing. So that is very important. Depending on this, we get our destination, what type of body we get. Depending on this, that depends. So the type of body what we get depends on the consciousness what we are maintaining throughout that life period. So how the body, what type of body we get, it depends on the conscious what we are having. Here, Prabhupada also says, at the time of death, the consciousness he has created will carry him on to the next type of body. So, throughout the life, throughout the life, what type of consciousness the living entity is following? Maybe, like if he has developed a consciousness like a dog throughout his life, and at the end of the life, like he'll be having that same impressions in his mind, right? So the next life, definitely, certainly he'll be born as a dog. But in case if a living entity throughout the life, he has done some good deeds, good activities, or something like that, and he has that consciousness, he has developed that consciousness throughout his life, then definitely in his next life he'll be born in a higher planetary a planetary place, in a heavenly planet, as a demigod or something like that. Or maybe when a person does bhakti throughout his life, has that consciousness doing bhakti, and always every moment he is engaged in the service of Krishna, when he develops this type of taste, this type of consciousness throughout his lifetime, definitely he is about to go to the abode of Krishna Loka. For in his next life, he will be in Krishna Loka serving Krishna. That's what Prabhupada said here. Has created will carry him on to the next type of body. So at the time of death, what is his state of mind, what is the consciousness, what he has carried out throughout his lifetime, will decide the type of body what he is getting. That's what Krishna also has explained. Krishna also has promised in chapter 8, shloka number 5, antakale cha mameva smaran mukta kalevaram yap prayati samadbhavam yati nashti atra samshayah. There is no doubt in that. One who remembers me at the time, always, then he will certainly come to my abode. Then again he's saying in 8.6, yam yam vapi smaram bhava tyajati anta kalevaram tam tam ye vaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. So whoever remembers other than me, then they will attain that state of mind in their next life after their death. So therefore it is up to us where we wanted to go. We wanted to go as a lower species, or we wanted to go to a heavenly planet, or we wanted to go to the Krishna Loka. Everything is very clear, the path is very clear, but we have to decide which path we have to take. We have to work on it. It depends on the activities what we do throughout our lifetime. It is something like purchasing ticket for our next life. Like purchasing ticket for our next life is the activities, the karma what we are doing. When we are doing the activities in Krishna consciousness, when we are doing the activities in bhakti marg, then our destination will be accordingly. When we are doing material activities and sense gratification activities, our next life will be according to that set of mind, according to that impression, according to that conscious what we are having. Therefore it is very important, as a devotee we have to be very intelligent in selecting the we have to be very intelligent in making the choices what we have. Either this or that. If this is taking me closer towards Krishna, yes, that is the choice which I am taking. If this is taking me away from Krishna, no, I am not taking this choice. That is how the choices have to be made. Anything which is not related to Krishna, and anything which is taking us away from Krishna, then that is not um, our choice. That should not be our choice. So whatever activities we do in this life, those are the activities which decide our destination. Therefore each and every moment we should keep thinking about that. We should be in that mood, and we should pray to Krishna that Krishna, please help me to intensify, please develop my intelligence also, to intensify my dedication to you, to intensify my submersion to you. So this is what our mood has to be. The task, everybody, this is the task which everyone has to do uh, throughout his lifetime. Yeah, Prabhupada also mentions on this: the individual soul is transmigrating from one body to another, and his present body and present activities are the background of his next body. Therefore whatever we are doing, that will decide our destination, that will decide where we are going to be in our next life. So our prayers to Krishna should be, Krishna, please intensify my hankering towards you, my hankering towards you. So definitely Krishna will help us. And Prabhupada also says here that one gets a different body according to karma, and he has to quit this body in due course. It is stated here that the subtle body, which carries the conception of the next body, develops another body in the next life. This process of transmigration from one body to another and struggling while in the body is called karshati, or struggle for existence. Karshati is always there. This material world, there is no happiness. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Yesterday also Prabhu was stressing on this point for us, right? So this is dukkhalayam and ashashvatam. Nothing is permanent here. Everything is just a temporary. We don't look for any miseries, right? But still it comes, and we want happiness, but still it comes. When the misery comes, the happiness also just follows. Whatever is happen to come, it is going to come. It is dukkhalayam. Nothing is permanent. The permanent happiness is only in the spiritual planet, that is for sure. So karshati, this material world is full of karshati, full of miseries. At the time of death, at the time of death, when the living entity is moving from one body to another body, it undergoes really lot of pain. And also when it takes birth in with another body, even at that time of birth, that is also a real big misery, right? In between the death and the birth, the body which the living entity has, even that period also, it takes it has lot of miseries which it has to go through along. Very hard, very harsh way it is. So therefore the living entity in this world is always struggling. It is just looking for some permanent happiness which is not there. So it is always struggling and struggling. We have to know that this is dukkhalayam. We can never look for any permanent happiness. Therefore everyone have to do the pious activities. Everyone have to do bhakti every day and think of going back to Krishna, because we don't belong here, we belong to that place. We have rebelled against him. We wanted to enjoy ourselves in this material world. That's why, that is what our wish was. Accordingly our activities were like that. So we worked on that, and this is our destination. That's why we have come here. We only wanted that. We only wanted to be away from Krishna, and we wanted to enjoy. Why only Krishna has to enjoy? I also wanted to enjoy. That is the activity, that is the conscious we had, and Krishna gave us a path to come to this material world. We think that this is a very happy world here. We can just gratify our senses and be permanently happy. But now, like, we realize it. As a devotee, we have to realize, we have to be serious, and we have to realize, we have to know that this is not the place for us. We have come from Krishna. That is our original place. That is our home. We cannot keep on jumping from one body to another body like a monkey, jumping from one branch to other branch, right? So definitely we have to go back home, back to God, and where we are from. So if our destination has to be that, accordingly our activities also have to be like that. Therefore we have to do intense bhakti day to day. Every day we have to do intense bhakti, and we have to pray, Krishna, please intensify my hankering to come back home to you. Now, like when we are chanting every day, also when we are doing some service, or when we are hearing Bhagavad Gita, when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever it is, we have to carry a mood. We have to have a mood in such a way that, oh Lord, I'm the living entity who wanted to come to this material world, who left you and came here. Now I know that this is not my place. This is not my place. Now, Krishna, I wanted to come back to you. This is not my happiness. Whatever I am doing, this chanting or reading these scriptures or doing devotional service, whatever I am doing, this is for pleasing you. Everything is to in for your pleasure. So that is the mood which we have to have. In that mood, when we do our bhakti, reading the scriptures or chanting every day 16 rounds, when we are doing all these bhakti mark in that mood, definitely we can see a transformation in us from selfishness, from the selfishness, like satisfying senses, to the selfless loving service to Krishna. When we have the transformation in us, then we are purchasing the right ticket for the right destination. So in this way, Krishna has nicely explained the transmigration of the living entity from one body to another body. And he's stressing more about this point in the coming slokas also. So let us hear that from tomorrow's slokas. Thank you, Prabhuji and Mataji, for giving me this opportunity. Any doubts and comments, please welcome. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhobhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Kalyan Mataji.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Any doubts, devotees?